Hello and welcome to the TrainerWise Daily Show. On today's episode, we're discussing CrossFit.
Show me a good time. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Show me a good. Show me a good. Show me a good time. Oh yeah.
Hey, this is a call out to all strength coaches and trainers out there. If you would like to share your views on a given topic, just go to trainerwise.com. Fill out the contact form. Tell us the topic that's of interest to you, and we'll get you on as soon as possible. We're filling up shows at the moment, currently taking guest speakers, so please do take the time now to contact us there, and we'll get you on. Our guest today to discuss his views on CrossFit and the questions that I have for him is Brad Leshinske from Chicago. Brad, welcome.
How you doing, Dan?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It took a while to connect. We figured it all out. We're all set. I'll fire the first question at you. The first question is, what has CrossFit done to the training industry, the general public for that matter? Has it been good? Has it been bad?
I think it's twofold. I think it's good because it's exposed people to more of an extreme way of weightlifting and the power movements, which the general public doesn't really get to see. And I think it's bad because it doesn't show what we actually do behind the scenes. As far as strength and conditioning coaches, I think it's important to show periodization, degress and progress in programs. What you see with CrossFit is you see an extreme amount of great athletes that are able to do power movements. Now, I've actually done CrossFit before. I've tried their workouts, their WODs. And as an experienced guy, I've been lifting since I was probably 15, 16. Some of their stuff is extremely difficult. For example, the other program the other day we did was 225-pound deadlift, 20 pull-ups, some box jumps, which isn't that big of a deal, but you take the average Joe who doesn't have any training experience or maybe less than 3 years, and you have them try to deadlift 225. There's other ways to modify that movement, and I think that's kind of one of their shortcomings, is they don't regress their exercises. They kind of keep them, hey, this is what it is, and do this, whatever it's Fran or whatever name they give it, do that movement, and then that's where you see the rash of injuries. Or people that, they try to clean and there's no progression to the power clean or the hang clean or the snatch or the overhead squat. So they just go right into, maybe something that's, high level training, high level movement patterns that maybe ex-athletes can get away with, or current athletes, but the general population cannot. And that's where I think we're having a lot of problems.
And when you did that routine that you were mentioning, was it in a cycle? Was it deadlift, pull-ups, box jumps, and then cycle through it again?
Yeah, it was all a circuit for time. A lot of their stuff is time-based. I actually degressed the weight on them because I know myself. I'm not going to do 8 rounds for time of 225 deadlifts for 12 reps. I wouldn't be able to walk the next day. So, we did like 185 or something like that, or 205. I can't remember, but that's the advantage of being a strength conditioning coach. I know what to regress and progress. But we have some of our athletes in this off season, who we train in college, they go away back home. They come back, I'm like, oh, what's wrong? They're like, I got injured. I'm like, what'd you do? I was doing CrossFit. What'd you get injured? Doing a kipping pull-up. I'm like, well, yeah, because you're swaying, your shoulders aren't used to that. It's the range of motion of the shoulder. So it has its benefits and it has its, it's like any other program. The good thing is, though, and with the popularity and Reebok sponsoring it now and being on ESPN, is people are saying, oh, my God, look at how cool this is. Kind of like the X Games.
Yeah, it's definitely extreme.
Definitely extreme.
And it's funny.
There's nothing in between.
I've always kind of viewed Reebok as like a has-been, if you will. No offense.
Right.
Just being very honest. And then when I saw him get behind CrossFit, I was like, oh, they're gonna nail that one. I mean, because I don't know if this is a fair analogy, but you remember probably like 15 years ago when UFC kind of became into popularity with the Gracies and the old school fighters who would fight, a 185-pound guy would fight a 400-pound gentleman. And it was kind of no holds barred.
Yes.
And, no eye gouging, no body, no fish hooking, and then everything else went. And
right.
Now there's you can't do certain strikes when the person has their knee on the ground. You can't do certain elbows in a certain direction. And to the average person, they may say that sounds crude still, but the reality is they polished it and they refined it a bit. And I imagine with a big sanctioning body like Reebok behind them, a big sponsor, I should say, I imagine the pressure will be on to round those parts out. I mean, because every accomplished trainer we have on this show who talks about CrossFit, speaks to the notion of quality control, being able to, regress the exercise to whoever's abilities. I think that's a very interesting element to do a heavy, maybe a complicated movement, at least maybe not complicated, but a movement where you have to focus on certain areas of your body exactly, otherwise you're going to get injured. And to do it when you're fatigued, that just lends really well to laziness. And laziness in a heavy exercise or, explosive exercise is, generally a concern. And now, I guess my question for you next is, I did an interview for the LA Times some time back, and they asked me about those BOSUs, those half domes, and they said, "Hey, is this a fad or not?" And I said, well, it works a lot better than those Swiss balls. You can do a lot more on them. I said, so I think it'll be around for a while. So I'll ask you that about CrossFit. Is it a fad?
You know what? I think it's an immediate fad, but I think, like you mentioned, if they can restructure it and show other aspects of it. I mean, their CrossFit certification's $1,000 to be CrossFit certified. Now, I have my CSCS, and those are expensive. Those are $600, whatever, $500, which has garnered a lot of, tradition and a lot of expertise, the CSCCA. Then you got this company that just creates it, and all of a sudden it's $1,000 to be certified. So I think they're going to have to do some real restructuring as it gets more popular and popular to go ahead and maintain this. With any good product, there has to be reformatted. Even your programs, even my programs, after a year, you sit there and look at them and go, man, this is what I've learned in the last year. Let's look back and see what we can do different. The program we write for Lewis University this year was much different than last year. Things have changed. The athletes have changed. We know the athletes a little bit better, so we can accommodate them as they need fit. And I think that's what CrossFit needs to do.
Yeah.
They should have a beginning one. Now they're trying to train kids. So they have CrossFit training for kids, which, I don't know how that's going to go. So it'll be interesting.
Maybe that'll be the demarcation where they have to say, wait a second. This is my kid. You don't get to just say, he dropped the bar on himself. You don't get to say 3 more.
Right. And that's what I think, a big thing in our industry is not having a regulation body. Not saying, hey, this isn't right. We need to take a look at this and have a governing body saying, hey, this is a little bit dangerous to just come out and say it's $1,000 to be certified to be CrossFit. Go ahead. Or open up what they call their boxes, their gyms.
Yeah.
Where they're popping up all over the place.
And that's my next question is is there more CrossFit gyms than there is regular gyms? Does it seem that way to you at all?
Well, owning a facility, two facilities now, it's hard to own them. And I think you're seeing more people open up speed stuff than sports performance stuff than CrossFit. But CrossFit is popping up a lot. They're popping up. One that just opened up around us, about 5 miles away, is inside of a PT studio, which is good for them because anybody gets injured, they get their clientele. I think that was closed by us, and they actually sold to BFit now. And I forget one of the smaller chain ones is now Charter Fitness. And Cardinal Fitness sold to Charter Fitness. So I think you're seeing some of those people take the pressure, especially with the economy, of owning a gym. And CrossFit's very cheap to own. You're looking at somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000 to start a gym.
And the brand is there. The people know what it is.
Exactly.
So it's I guess you can almost compare it to Curves to some degree, in as far as popularity.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. When Curves started here, our women's workout world, those opened up like hotcakes. Everybody did a HIIT formula and was machines this, machines that. You see a lot of CrossFit and a lot of boot camps starting to spring up. And those are the two biggest things we see in our neighborhoods. We're still, even though sports performance places are still popping up, a lot of ex-pro guys and that are opening them up. We're the only ones within probably 15 miles of here. So that's still good for us, but it's you get a lot of competition. MMA gyms are popping up, I think, even more rapidly than CrossFit gyms.
Yeah, geez, talk about an exploding sport. So, but there's a lot of like for example, the gym that I train at allows it's just a private training studio, and I really like the guy a lot because he gives flexibility to the trainers to do their craft independently. At the same time, he allows people to do MMA in the one room up front where they have a floor and bags. He kind of sublet that out. and he does kind of sports performance in the back with the racks and the turf on the back side of his facility. And so he's kind of accommodating all comers, and in a way,
all aspects.
And it's a lot of CrossFitters train their private clients there, and
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely an exploding sport, MMA, and that's kind of
It's huge. One of my favorite sports to watch.
Oh man, there's nothing more exciting than
I've watched it since '93, so I get to see it grow, and that's something that's new has to grow like that. They've changed a lot of things since '93.
Yeah,
like you mentioned, the rules, just the way they train, the specialty. There's not many specialties anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be multifaceted to be able to compete consistently.
We're fortunate to train a couple fighters, and the guy that just fought this past weekend, we trained one of his friends, Chael Sonnen.
Oh yeah.
Everybody knows Chael. He goes out to.
Your video kind of froze for a second, so I'll wait for you to come back.
Portland trains with Chael every few weeks. He's a heck of an athlete to train. His name's Matt in sport, and that makes the fights sometimes a little bit more boring because people are a little more even, but they're better athletes.
Well, the funny thing about that, you're talking about, what was your the friend of Chael, you said?
His name's Matt.
So Chael, when he fought Anderson the first time, that wasn't boring. That was like jaw on the ground.
It wasn't boring. That was the first time we got to see Anderson split.
Dude, and then the submission at the end, I almost cried for the poor guy. That was painful. But he gets a rematch, right? You see that he won.
Yep, that's right.
So I'm interested to see how that goes. And then I guess Verdum, is gonna maybe fight Dos Santos again, but. As good as he looked,
that'll be an interesting fight.
As good as he looked
against
that old guy Nelson, or that slow guy Nelson, I should say. Dos Santos is fast.
Dos Santos and a lot of the heavyweights. You can go Mir, Dos Santos, Carwin. Shane will be interesting if he comes back.
Heavy-handed brother right there, man. That guy can sing.
He's got a right hand that I wouldn't want to get in front of. That's for sure.
I guess the one that I'm kind of scared and that I want to see at the same time is Bones Jones versus Rashad Evans, and because Rashad has kind of talked a lot about being able to beat him because I guess they work together at I think it's is it Kevin Jackson? What's the guy's name? Greg Jackson up in New Mexico.
Greg Jackson.
Yeah. So everybody who's probably not into MMA is like, what the hell are they talking about right now? But who cares? It's actually I'm kidding. Greg Jackson, that guy has like a 76% winning percentage. So when you saw Condit versus Nick Diaz, and I was saying, I wonder about this Condit kid. I don't know anything about him. You can't count him out. And they said, in his corner is Greg Jackson. I was like, oh, shoot, he's going to beat Diaz.
Yep, he'll be running.
He's going to beat him.
That's what they do. They stick and move.
Dude, his game planning.
They're like old boxers.
Yeah, his strategy is pretty nice. You said, I guess we'll close with coming back to our original topic, CrossFit, the demographic they're aimed at. You said they're starting to work with kids, but, I mean, who are the people who are doing it right now? Is it all moms who are like, yeah, I can be powerful? I mean, is there a mind shift in as far as, that's the most popular demographic when it comes to fitness, not necessarily sports performance, but when it comes to general fitness, which it seems that a lot of these people are, is, middle-aged women or 30-year-old women from their 20s to their early 40s, late 40s, now 50s. Is that the people that are doing it, or is it mostly like young, former athletes?
What I've seen around our area is a lot of firefighters, policemen, military.
Yeah, right.
Using CrossFit. Then you get your ladies in the 30s to 40s range, and then the gentlemen who I think still think they could still clean when they're 35, 45, which some of them can, But if you haven't done it, it's something you got to keep doing. I mean, no matter even if it's light, for speed work or, heavy, but people have to realize that you can't just take 10 years off of cleaning and start hand cleaning, power cleaning, snatching without gradually getting back to that kind of movement. So I think you are seeing a lot of public service people doing it, your firefighters, policemen, military, but I also think you see that 32 to 45 range, older people that are kind of saying, wow, I remember when I used to do these types of movements and then just jump right into it.
Yeah,
we get some kids that are, like I said, 18 to 22 that have done it and have gotten a little injured. They come back and, they're a little bit more resilient. So I know Coach Boyle, over on the East Coast. He has put on quite a few blogs about CrossFit and some videos that he's put up. And it's a shame because we always see the videos that are poor, the bad coaching videos. We never get to see the good ones that people post. So, again, I mean, it's our fault that we don't open our minds up a little bit. They're trying to open them up, which is good. I think it's like anything else. Some people can't just go right into sprinting without tearing a hamstring.
Agreed.
Totally agree. And some people can't go right into cleaning without tearing a rotator cuff. So it's like anything else. It's you have to prepare for the movement. You have to have good coaching. It all comes down to the coaching. If you have a guy that can coach a clean, coach a snatch, coach a deadlift properly, you're going to have decent results.
I agree.
If you have somebody that just stands there and says, wow, all right, you got 12 of them. Let's see what you can do. And, they're rounding their back off, they have their head down, and they're pulling with their back, you're going to have the injuries. So it comes down to coaching. You're as good as your coaches when it comes to
you broke up a little bit, but
any weight training, any sports performance.
I agree. It does come down to that very simple aspect. Brad, I want to thank you for coming on today. If people want to get more about your perspective and your gyms that you have in your area of Chicago, where's the best place that they can get in touch with you or maybe see what facilities and training programs you have going on?
Well, you could always give us a call at 773-610-3278 or email me at llmb@prodigy.net. More than happy to answer any of your questions. Our bases are with athletes. We've had over 4,500 athletes in 5 years. We train anybody from, we've had 8-year-old kids with autism to professional athletes that we just let go to their spring training. So wide variety, but if you have any questions, please feel free. If you want any more in-depth things, just give me a call or give me an email.
Cool. All right. My name is Daniel. You know where to reach me at trainerwise.com. Thank you, Brad, and thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it, man. Take care.
Show me a good time. Oh yeah. Show me a good time.